Okay, Thursday night football, we have the 2-5 Ravens and the 2-6 Miami Dolphins. It's Halloween weekend, and both of these teams came back from the dead last week with big wins. And now their back is against the wall again. This is going to be a good one. This game preview is presented by DraftKings Sportsbook. All customers get an NFL Parlay profit boost every week this season. NFL Parlays only. Parlay criteria varies. Max bet varies and profit boost varies. Sign up using promo code Gruden, G-R-U-D-E-N. This Top of Mind is brought to you by Chevrolet. Football season's in full swing. And whether you're grinding through the week or gearing up for kickoff, there's one ride that's always game ready, the Chevy Silverado. Built for the hustle, ready for the game. Silverado is America's most dependable full-size truck. Head to Chevy.com to learn more and build your own Chevy Silverado. Okay, Thursday night we have the Miami Dolphins at home. 2-6 coming off a big win, an impressive win against the Atlanta Falcons, and they're hosting the Baltimore Ravens, who also got a big win ending a 4-game losing streak, and they welcome the return of Lamar Jackson. At least that's what we all think. Some of us thought that might happen last week. But both of these teams have a chance to put together a 2-game winning streak. Somebody's going to come back to life with a victory. Somebody could get knocked out with the loss because the losses are mounting. John Harbaugh of the Ravens, Mike McDaniel of the Miami Dolphins. This is Coach Harbaugh's 17th season. What a job he did last week, beating the Chicago Bears. He is 15-3 coming off a bye. Mike McDaniel is 29-29, and last week in Atlanta, they kind of changed their offense a little bit. They used an extra offensive lineman to play tight end. They ran the ball. They were more committed to the running game, and it really helped Miami steal a win down there against them Falcons. Both of these defenses have been very disappointing this year. They've had injuries, so there's plenty of reasons perhaps why they have struggled. But Miami and Baltimore are 2 of 6 teams that have allowed 31 points or more in 4 different games. I mean, that's hard to win. Teams that allow 31 points or more are 3-20-1. And the Ravens and the Dolphins are 0-4. They got to reduce the points and be more competitive on defense. This game has every look of a high-scoring game. I don't know if you're into the overs or the unders or all that. I'd take the over. I mean, Baltimore's given up 30 points a game, and the Miami Dolphins are giving up 26.9 points per game. And right here, the Ravens, they give up some kind of points on 53% of the possessions. That's bad. Field goals or touchdowns. The Dolphins give up points on 51% of the drives. And Lamar Jackson is back for the Ravens. Another reason why there's probably going to be more points in a game. Another reason why these defenses give up points is both of these offenses have been very careless with the ball. I mean, Miami's turned the ball over 11 times, and the Ravens have turned it over 10 times. Hell, the Ravens only turned it over 11 times all last season. So when you're struggling on defense, and all of a sudden the offense turns it over, it's like a double whammy, man. And that's kind of what's happened throughout the first half of this season. When you're -6, like the Ravens are, that means you're 31st in the league. And when you're -5, like the Dolphins, you're 26th in the league. They're giving the ball away too many times. 11 times the Ravens have given it away, 10 times for Miami. But the Ravens have only taken the ball away 4 times. That's unbelievable. They struggled to do it last year. It's a real struggle this year. And Miami's only got 1 interception on defense. They've just taken it away 7 times. So ball security, turnover ratio, the number 1 statistic in a lot of people's mind in terms of winning, is going to determine this game as well. The Baltimore Ravens started off 1-5. Things are not going well. They lose 41-40. They lose a 15-point lead in the opening game. Then they get mauled at home by the Detroit Lions 38-30. And then somehow, some way, they got rid of all the video games in their facility. They got rid of the ping pong tables. They got rid of the cornhole things. Get your asses together. Let's focus on our football. All this distraction, all this stuff, where you're ripping the offensive coordinator, you rip the defensive coordinator. Hell with that. Let's get back to business. Let's start playing like Ravens. And that's what they did last week. They were impressive, man, on both sides of the ball, beating the Chicago Bears, ending their 4-game winning streak. I mean, the Bears weren't really impressive on Sunday, to say the least. They missed some throws. They missed some blitz pickups. They had a mistake on the goal line, and the Ravens capitalized. The Miami Dolphins, hell, they got up off the mat. They went into Atlanta, into that air-conditioned place, and they put a can of whoop-ass on the Atlanta Falcons. And the Falcons weren't very impressive either. I mean, they weren't on the same page. Guys are running out routes and the ball's thrown down the field. They missed blitz pickups. Bijan fumbled the ball before he even got hit. The Dolphins and the Ravens capitalized on some bad ball last week. But what's it going to be this week? Are one of these two teams going to take off? I can't wait to find out. This is the 20th meeting between these two teams. The Ravens lead the series 11-8 all time. The Ravens with Lamar Jackson are 4-2 all time on Thursday Night Football. He's thrown 15 touchdowns, 1 pick. The short week doesn't seem to bother him. Although in 2022, Lamar and the Ravens came down here to Miami and lost 22-10. But Lamar's 4-2 on Thursday night. Tua is 0-4 all time on Thursday Night Football. I think Tua hates Thursday Night Football as much as I do. Now, that's impossible, but he has struggled, to say the least, on Thursday night. What a fitting place for Lamar Jackson to make his return. He's from Pompano Beach, about an hour from Miami. And you know where Miami Hard Rock Stadium is, Jake? Do you know where it's located? It's on Don Shula Drive. Don Shula, his name is etched in stone in Baltimore and Miami. 33 years he spent in the NFL. His entire career was with Baltimore or the Dolphins. So it'll be pretty cool seeing the Dolphins and Ravens on Don Shula Drive kicking it off here Thursday night. The two previous matches between Tua and Lamar Jackson have been memorable. Think about this. Week 17, 2023. Lamar Jackson and the Ravens beat the Dolphins 56-17. Lamar, 18 for 21, 321, and 5 touchdowns. I like saying this number, Clay. 158.3. Say it with me, Clay.
158.3.
That's right. That's a perfect QB rating. Say it again.
158.3.
That's Lamar Jackson. He smoked Miami, man. And they won 56-17. Unfortunately, Bradley Chubb of the Dolphins got hurt in that game, hurt his knee, and missed the entire 2024 season. But in 2022, week 2, probably the most prolific passing day in Tua's career. They were down 21 points to the Ravens. You may not remember this, but I do. And Tua absolutely shredded the Ravens. 469 yards passing, 6 touchdowns. And Miami, who was down 21 points, gets a touchdown pass, Tua to Jalen Waddle with 14 seconds left. Dolphins win. So this game sounds like a shootout. It has been a shootout. I think it's going to be a shootout. So the over's 51.5. What would you do, Jake?
Take the over.
Take the over. Very good. Lamar Jackson, his injury. Let's not look past how healthy is he. Last week on the injury list, it was full participant. Everybody thought he was going to play, but he didn't participate. Everybody raised hell about it. Now he's a full participant again this week. Will he play or will it be Huntley again? It'll be interesting to see, but all indications are it will be Lamar Jackson. He's 74-32 as the starter of the Ravens. When he's out there, they win a lot of games. They're 5-12 when Lamar Jackson doesn't play. Here's a stat for you, Jake. When Lamar Jackson starts, they average 32.8 points per game this year. When he doesn't, how about 14.3? You can see why a 2-time MVP makes a lot of money, and he is a big part of your offense. You know, Tua, for the Dolphins, he takes a lot of heat, in my opinion. And when you're the quarterback, sometimes it's well-deserved. But when I look at him, he has done an unbelievable job keeping things together. I mean, I don't think people realize half of his offensive line, more than half, is out. They haven't even played. I don't know where some of these guys are. Austin Jackson, Liam Eichenberg. Where's James Daniels? They don't play. Tyreek Hill is out. You keep looking at it, And his coach, they're under fire all the time. The media's on his ass. It's got to be somewhat of a distraction playing there. He's thrown 10 interceptions. He called out his team. He's ill. He has an eye infection. And he goes to Atlanta 20 for 25. He shreds them for 4 touchdown passes. I think he showed a lot of mental toughness. And I like the fact that he backed it up last week in some dire circumstances to play really good football. Let's take a look at the AFC North quickly. The Baltimore Ravens are 2-5, currently 2 games behind the Pittsburgh Steelers, who've lost 2 games in a row. Hell, Cincinnati just got their ass kicked by the Jets, and the Cleveland Browns are 2-6. They play the Steelers twice, the Bengals twice, and the Cleveland Browns. They are far from out of it. The next 7 opponents that the Ravens play are a combined 18-36. They're coming off a win. Lamar Jackson is back. And look, their next 3 games, at Miami, at Minnesota, and at Cleveland. And then they come home for some more winnable games. This is a huge, monumental game for the Ravens. And the Miami Dolphins, they're in the AFC East. They're already 4 games behind New England, who's 6-2. Buffalo's 5-2. This is a must-win for Miami to even keep a remote playoff chance alive. It's going to be a battle of the Ravens' battered defensive line and the Miami Dolphins' battered offensive line. We already talked about the Dolphins missing Austin Jackson, Liam Eichenberg, James Daniels. Hell, Baltimore is missing their best inside rusher. Matabike's out. They're missing Broderick Washington. They're missing Tavius Robinson, a really good edge rusher. And they traded Odafe Oweh to the Chargers a few weeks ago. Well, hails bells. I don't even know a lot of these Ravens. What gives Thursday night? The kickers, both kickers are kicking the ball really well. Tyler Loop, the rookie for the Ravens, we said this in the preseason. He's a talent, man. 12 for 13 on field goals, 18 for 19 on PATs. And for the Dolphins, Riley Patterson has been more than solid. He's been stellar. He's 11 for 12 on field goals, 19 for 19 on PATs. Couple injuries to look at. Lamar Jackson, if he does play, how healthy is he? Can he really cut it loose and turn the corner like he's famous for? Or is he going to be a little bit more, I don't know, conservative in his play? Keep an eye on Ronnie Stanley, Pro Bowl left tackle. He tweaked that ankle last week. For the Miami Dolphins, Storm Duck, cornerback, unfortunately, hurt that knee in the 4th quarter. He's out for the season. Keep an eye on Ashton Davis, safety man, number 21. He's got a quad. Melifonwu, their safety man. He came over from Detroit. He hurt his hand or thumb. We think he's going to play. And Bradley Chubb, very good pass rusher. He's got a shoulder, he's got a foot, he's a little beat up. We think he's going to go, but keep an eye on number 2, Bradley Chubb. Let's get into the game. This offense-defense matchup is brought to you by Fox 1. On Fox 1, you can stream your favorite live sports. So you never miss that "did you see that" moment? That means Fox NFL Sundays are on Fox 1. NFL Sunday, all streaming live the way it was meant to be watched. It's also the best way to stay locked in on your action. Whether you're sweating your fantasy matchup, tracking a parlay, or riding the chaos live as it happens. I hate watching things on delay. I gotta see it live, man. Start your 7-day free trial today. Offers are subject to change. Go to Fox 1 for complete terms and conditions. Okay, the Ravens offense against the Dolphins defense. I love this. A lot of people said, hey, it's the Ravens. They're only 2-5. The Dolphins are 2-6. Are you crazy, man? This is the most exciting game I've had in some time. The Baltimore Ravens are healthy on offense. That's worth the price of admission. This is a historic offense last year. 4,000 plus passing, 3,000 plus rushing, never been done in NFL history. And everybody's back in the saddle, man. 425 yards a game, 6.8 yards a play, second most ever, man. And when you look at it, they get Todd Monken, offensive coordinator. All the pieces are back. DeAndre Hopkins came over. It's time to shine, baby. And I think great things could happen. What are we going to do, though, on offense? They have all these players available, all these personnel packages. Can we find a rhythm offensively with the return of Lamar Jackson? Are they going to use 3 receivers and play 11 personnel? Are they going to use Isaiah Likely and Mark Andrews together and play 12? Patrick Ricard, fullback, the straw man, the guy that stirs the drink. Are they going to use him in 21 personnel, 2 backs, 1 tight end, and 2 receivers? Hell's bells, Charlie Kolar caught a touchdown pass. He's a hell of a tight end. They use 13 personnel and use 3 tight ends together. So everybody's on call, but what are we going to do? And do we have enough balls to go around? That'll be exciting to see. I love to see Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry in the same backfield, because when you put the ball in Henry's stomach, the threat of Lamar keeping it on the disconnect, it neutralizes the backside. If you're overly aggressive after Henry, Lamar can kill you. Keeping it or pitching it, there's a lot of perimeter offense available. And the play action pass is absolutely deadly. I'm not talking about these bullshit RPOs. I'm talking about hard play action passes, shots down the field. And I'm talking about bootlegs. Fake it here, move the pocket over there. They are nasty, and it is fun to watch. What I love about Lamar Jackson last season and this season, the games that he's playing, he's winning in the pocket. I was with the 49ers when Steve Young was there. Joe was the quarterback. We had Montana. He was winning in the pocket. Steve Young was a notorious scrambler in the USFL with the Buccaneers. And when he started to win in the pocket, that's when he became the Hall of Fame badass complete quarterback. And I see that in Lamar Jackson. You know, he's only scrambling 15% of all of his drop back passes. That's the lowest amount he's ever scrambled. Now, when he does scramble, he can kill you with explosive plays, first downs, touchdowns, long passes. But he is winning in the pocket. He's using all 5 eligibles. He'll throw it to Justice Hill. He'll hit all these tight ends. He'll throw it over here to Hopkins, and he'll use Zay Flowers between the hashes. This guy's a hell of a player, and he's become a tremendous passer that can win in the pocket. Anticipation, touch, velocity, timing. He's got all the criteria to hurt you real bad. Plus, he's in year 3 of Todd Monken's offense, so he's got a real feel for all the concepts. And I'm sure he has some input in what he likes too. I love the deep ball passing of the Ravens. This year, Lamar's thrown the ball 14 times, over 20 yards. He's completed 7 of them. That's the Cleveland Browns. He shredded them over their head. And last year in 2024, he threw 8 touchdown passes, no interceptions. The vertical game really helps the Ravens use every inch of grass on the football field. They'll throw quick screens over here to Flowers, flip screens to Justice Hill, and they'll throw it over your freaking head, man. So you better be on your toes. And this Dolphins secondary has really struggled. I expect Lamar and company to exploit that. This year, looking at the numbers, Lamar Jackson has been blitzed 37% of the time on drop back passes. That's the most in his entire career. So you would think maybe defenses have figured something out. Bullshit. Lamar Jackson, 72% against 5 rushers or more. He could care less. 10.4 yards per attempt. And then you look at 134 QBR. It's not 158.3, but 134 tells you he can shred the blitz, and he almost looks forward to seeing the blitz. Ravens got to pick it up in the red zone. The best thing they did, if you ask me, was put the ball in the end zone a year ago. This year, obviously, a lot of this has to do because Lamar hasn't been under center. They're 28th in the league in touchdown percentage. Kicking too many field goals. They've turned it over down there. Hasn't been very good. Has not been Raven-like. They got to get better in the red zone. I think the ball distribution needs to be carefully looked at. I love Zay Flowers, number 4. I know he's their go-to receiver, but he's got 55 targets, man. But where's Mark Andrews? Where's Isaiah Likely? What happened to Rashad Bateman, man? He's one of my favorite guys. These guys have way fewer targets. I just think we need to distribute the ball, feed some of these other Raven mouths because they're probably hungry. The O-line has had a lot of continuity. I know Ronnie Stanley at left tackle missed a couple games. And I know Notebloom, number 68, got in there and struggled a little bit. But I see left guard Voorhees, the center Linderbaugh. We see Fa'alele at right guard and our right tackle Roger Rosengard. They played every single snap together but 3. And right now the Ravens sack-wise are giving up a 10.6% sack rate. They gave up 16 or 17 pressures against the Rams. This group can play better and has to play better because they have the talent to do it. And they played together long enough now to turn it up a notch. They're going to have to. The Dolphin defense is led by defensive coordinator Anthony Weaver. When you see Weaver on the sideline, you see this big guy. He's freaking yoked, man. He played defensive line for the Ravens. I think it's like 2002 to 2005. Then he got in coaching. He worked his way up. He was the D-line coach of the Ravens in 2021 to 2023 before he came to Miami. So he's obviously got a lot of intel into this Raven offense. That could be an advantage. He's gone up against Lamar Jackson twice a day in training camp for 3 years. So he's probably got a pretty good feel of what to do and, most importantly, what not to do. He can say, hey, don't call that shit against him. He'll kill you. You know, you got to be smart. Right now, Miami isn't as good as they were last year. They've had some injuries. They're 26th in the league in scoring defense, 23rd in total defense, have really struggled against the run. They're 28th. That's why it was shocking to see what they did last week. They got after Atlanta's ass, man. Tackles for loss, stuffs. They played with great energy and togetherness. What film do you watch if you're Anthony Weaver and the Dolphin players and staff? Do you really want to spend time studying what they did with Cooper Rush at quarterback? Do you really want to look real hard last week at what Huntley did at quarterback? Probably not, because the Ravens run a very unique, exclusive offense for their superstar quarterback. You got to go all the way back to Monken's first year. Study Lamar Jackson's designed runs, study his favorite passing concepts, and study how we control the pocket. We cannot let this man take off and kill us. The Dolphins play a base 3-4 defense. They have two outside linebackers, Jalen Phillips, Bradley Chubb, that are well known. They also have a first-round draft choice, Chop Robinson, and Matthew Judon, the ex-Raven. Don't think he wants to have a big game against his old team. They got four pretty good outside backers that become defensive ends when they go to sub. Another key player for the Dolphins is Minkah Fitzpatrick, number 29. In the base defense, they have four DBs. He'll play free safety. And he's had a good season, but by his standards, I don't think it's been good enough. He had a chance to get Quinshawn Judkins of the Browns on the ground and make an eraser tackle. Judkins took it to the house. I don't know what the coverage was at the end of that Charger game, but hell, McConkey ran a shallow cross. I could have sworn Minkah should have run with him. There's just been a couple plays that I normally see him make that he hasn't made. But when he's in base, he's the free safety. And when they go nickel and they bring their fifth DB in, you see Fitzpatrick go down and play the slot. And he's a hell of a slot. But they got to get a lot more out of him on an every down basis. The Dolphins have really struggled to get off the field on third down, whether it be coverage, whether it be pass rush, whether it be the play call not being understood or communicated. They got to do a better job. 27th in the league. But they put their stuff together last week in Atlanta. The Falcons were 2 for 11 on third down. I even heard the fans booing in Atlanta. You know, when you're a defensive player and you just shell another offense and you hear their fans booing, it just really makes you feel nicey. Oh! This Miami Dolphins secondary's had injuries in training camp. They traded Jalen Ramsey. They bring in Minkah Fitzpatrick. They've tried a number of different people in the post. They have got to do a better job. They've given up 11 touchdown passes. They just have one interception. The QB rating against the Dolphins is 109.4. Just so we're all together, anything over 100 is good for a quarterback and bad for a defense. They've also given up 73.5% completions. That's worst in the league. So Lamar Jackson, it looks like, is going to have a pretty good day passing as long as the protection holds up. The Dolphins stemmed their fronts, and they caused a couple false starts last week from the Falcons. I mean, they're going to line up. Zach Sealer will be a defensive tackle. And right before the snap, boom, boom, he comes over here, and the lineman goes like this. It's legal to stem, okay? So you got to have your poise in the noise. You got to have your poise at all times. But the Dolphins' defensive linemen are going to stem. You see that, Clay? See how quick I move? Yeah. And they'll confuse some blocking schemes. I want to go back and say it one more time. Anthony Weaver, defensive coordinator of the Dolphins. What factor will he be with his inside intel from being with the Ravens? He's a heck of a coach. He got his team rallied last week against Atlanta. And usually when you put a team like this in prime time, the alphas come out. I'm expecting this Miami Dolphin defense to pick it up after what I saw in Atlanta last week. Let's take a look at the matchups. Let's take a look at the offensive line. We talked about Ronnie Stanley. Take a look at his health. He did tweak that ankle last week against Chicago. But the offensive line of the Baltimore Ravens, they're led by their center, Tyler Linderbaum. He's a very good athlete, good in one-on-one pass protection. I really like Linderbaum. The other tackle is Roger Rosengarten, second-year man out of Washington. And I think both tackles are going to be challenged. Jalen Phillips, number 15, former first-round pick of the Dolphins. He had an injury, missed all but 4 games a year ago. He only plays about 45% of the snaps. He's got 2 sacks. He leads the Dolphins with 27 pressures. He's got 14 tackles, and they move him around. Sometimes he'll be over the center. He'll be at right end and left end. Good player. Bradley Chubb, number 2. He missed all of 2024 with a knee. He's up to playing about 67% of the time, and he's got a lot of versatility and power in his rush. He's got 19 tackles. He's got 4 sacks. He's a productive player. They got to get more out of Chop Robinson. Chop Robinson, to me, flashes, and then he disappears. 44, Chop Robinson, former number 1 pick out of Penn State. He's got to pursue the ball better. He's got to finish plays more consistently. And Judon, the veteran, number 8, we talked about him. He played for the Ravens. He was with the Falcons last year. He has a role in the sub. Zach Sealer, number 92, is their best defensive tackle. He has no sacks this year, which is a shock to me. He had double digits a couple years ago, but he plays almost 80% of the time. He had a huge play last week in short yardage against the Falcons. He leads the defensive line in tackles. One of the things that Anthony Weaver did last week against the Falcons, which is pretty cool, is he used 4 defensive ends at the same time. He had Chubb at right end. He put Judon over the guard. He put Jalen Phillips, number 15, over the center in a 2-point stance. He's like standing right over the center, talking to him, listening to his calls. And then over here, they had 1 defensive tackle. That was Zach Sealer, and Chop Robinson was on the left side. So you had Robinson, Phillips, you have Judon and Chubb, 4 defensive ends on the field, and Sealer, who had double-digit sacks a couple years ago. That is some problems, man. Sometimes they rush 2 guys, then they'd rush 3, then they'd rush 4, and Phillips would pop out of there. He would spy on the quarterback. They have a lot of athletes on the field, so keep an eye on this NASCAR group. You ever been to a NASCAR race? Fast, Jake. So they put fast guys out there. Weaver, he'll be down there going, hey, NASCAR, NASCAR. And all this speed will come out on the field. All right, the Ravens running game, it all centers around Derrick Henry, the beast. He's got 510 yards. Everybody talked about the 3 weeks in a row where he fumbled. Fumble, fumble, fumble. Negativity, bullshit. This is one of the kings of running a football. 510 yards rushing. He came back strong with 122 against the Rams, 71 more last week against the Bears, and he scored 2 touchdowns. Hey, he's got 112 touchdowns, man. That's 5th all time. He just passed Walter Payton. He's closing in on the great Adrian Peterson. But this is still the productive beast. He can really slam the ball between the tackles, and he still has breakaway speed, and perhaps one of the greatest stiff arms I have seen. They also use Justice Hill, number 34. He's a really good 3rd down back. Doesn't carry it a lot, just 16 carries for 90 yards, but he has caught 18 passes, 150 yards, and a touchdown. And it was good to see Keaton Mitchell last week. He had a terrible injury 2 years ago. He came in the game last week, carried the ball 4 times for 43 yards. Hell, one time they had him tracked running around the left side, 20.6 miles an hour. I was like, damn, he looks pretty good. So he has a unique, creative package of plays, but it's going to be Henry and Lamar with some wicked inside-outside combinations that are going to be tough for Miami to stop. When you watch the Dolphins, if everybody would zero in on number 20 4 or 5 times during the game, just watch number 20 and watch this kid's production. Jordan Brooks not only leads the Dolphins in tackles, he leads the NFL in tackles. He's a badass. He finishes plays, man. The guy had 10 tackles. He had 4 tackles for loss last week against Atlanta. Now, I don't know what Atlanta was doing because he just ran through and stuffed the running back repeatedly. He's a good blitzer. He's a fun guy to watch, number 20. The other linebacker is Dodson, number 25. He ain't bad either. He's been around the league. I remember him in Seattle. I remember him bouncing around the league, but he's found a home here. He's the number 2 tackler. 25 Dodson, 20 Jordan Brooks are good players. You might even see number 40, Willie Gay, the ex-Kansas City Chief. He played for the Saints. He is one fast dude. Maybe he has a role spying on Lamar Jackson in certain situations. So they have a lot of speed at linebacker, and they use it extremely well. Let's talk about the matchups on the outside. The cornerback position has had a lot of injuries and turnover in Miami since the beginning of training camp. At left corner on the offensive right, I expect to see number 23, Jack Jones, the ex-Raider. Jones will split some time, but he is a very confident cover guy. He's got to do a better job consistently tackling. And I see Rashad Bateman of the Baltimore Ravens. He wears number 7. He got a big contract right before the season. He's got 13 catches, 171 yards, but this man can run some routes. Last week against the Bears, I call it a stash route. He's flying down the field to the near hash. Stash hash. Flying down here. It looks like it's a special scene. A special route with a hash route. We called it stash. Flying down here to the near hash. Sticks his foot in the ground and goes back to the back pylon. A beautiful pattern. Bateman is a good player. He can run double moves. He's good after the catch. I like him. And on the other side, let's look at DeAndre Hopkins. If they want to go 11 personnel and use 3 receivers, D-Hop, who really put the game away with the fly stop at fourth quarter closing time, he's still capable of getting on top of you. He's averaging 19 yards a catch. He's got 2 touchdowns, and nobody can really track the 50-50 ball like he can. And at right corner for Miami, it's going to be Rasul Douglas. I used to coach Rasul Douglas. I like this kid. Philadelphia Eagles. He's bounced around the league, was a very good Buffalo Bill. Rasul Douglas has been targeted 36 times. He's got great mental toughness. He's got some savvy. He's only given up 24 catches for 200 yards. He gets people on the ground. He had a pass interference called against him last week that was the biggest bullshit call I have ever seen. He made a hell of a play, and they gave Atlanta a 40-yard gain. God, that made me mad. Sorry for swearing. But anyway, Douglas is a good player. Zay Flowers, he'll line up in the slot. He'll line up on each side. He's all over the place. 41 catches, 486 yards, 1 touchdown. Clearly the number 1 target. And if he's in the slot, we do expect to see a lot of Minkah Fitzpatrick. Fitzpatrick in the nickel will come down here and play in the sub. And they're going to put this Dante Trader guy. Dante Trader, rookie out of Maryland, number 11. He made 2 great plays last week down the field, breaking up passes. He's got range. He's had some injuries in his young career, but if number 11 Trader can stay healthy, the Dolphins might have something. They don't lose a lot in the post when Fitzpatrick comes down to play the nickel. The other safety is Melifonwu, the ex-Detroit Lion. He's been in and out of the lineup this year with injuries. So is Ashton Davis, number 21. But Melifonwu's got some experience. He's got some savvy. He's going to have to play great. Both safeties and the nickel against Zay Flowers and these Raven tight ends have their hands full. I don't like the Raven tight ends. I love them. It's my favorite group of tight ends in the NFL. They're led by Mark Andrews. Mark Andrews has 24 catches this year, 208 yards, 2 touchdowns. He's been awful quiet since the Detroit game. I mean, against the Lions, he has 6 for 91, 2 touchdowns, but he's been awful quiet lately. 89 Andrews. And Isaiah Likely's back. Last year, Isaiah Likely had a can of whoop pass every Sunday. Likely's got 5 catches, 26 yards. He's been awful quiet. Likely, he wears number 80. And then Charlie Kolar, who caught a touchdown last week. I went and watched the Ravens for a couple days. Let me tell you, Charlie Kolar, he's how you draw up a tight end. He looks like Jason Witten, man. Big, strong, and he's athletic. They have 3 excellent tight ends. And Patrick Ricard is back. Number 42, they're 300-pound. I don't know what he is. Fullback, H-back. I've seen him play tight end. That's why I call him the straw man, Jake. The straw that stirs the drink. He'll get in the I formation right in front of the beast. Good God, put your mouthpiece in. They'll put him on the line of scrimmage as a tight end. They'll put him in motion. He is a hell of a football player. So the Ravens tight ends, I look for more 12 personnel, a little bit more 13. I know you want to get all these receivers out there, but against this run defense that really struggles, I expect to see a lot of some big boy pads and a lot of the beast running the rock. Last thing, in short yardage, any 3rd and 1, 4th and 1 short yardage situation, the Dolphins are going to play a 4-3 look. I call it a saw dog look because the Sam linebacker and the Will linebacker get on the line of scrimmage. It's a 4-3 look. You'll see Benito Jones. You'll see number 94 right in there. You'll see my guy Phillips, Jordan Phillips. You'll see Zach Sealer and Chubb. But they got 3 guys on each side of the center, and they'll put Terrell Dodson as the middle linebacker. It's an old school 4-3 saw dog blitz. I can't wait to see it. But the D-line of the Dolphins, what conditioning level do we have? Can we get more out of Kenneth Grant, our rookie first-round defensive tackle? He's got a sack and a half, 50% of play time. We got to have more out of him. We got to have a lot more effort, a lot more consistent energy because Lamar Jackson's coming home to South Florida. Okay, the Miami Dolphin offensive coordinator Frank Smith going up against this Raven defense led by second-year coordinator Zach Orr. Has some unique matchups as well. You know, the Miami Dolphin offense really made some changes last week against the Falcons. They inserted an offensive lineman, number 64, Daniel Brunskill. He comes in there at tight end, man. And the Dolphins look like the Pittsburgh Steelers slamming the ball. They ran the ball on 3rd and 2 twice. They ran the ball on 4th and 1. They had some long, sustained drives, and it really helped, I think, their pass protection, their bootleg offense, and their play actions were better because of their commitment to running the ball. They have struggled this year scoring. They're 21st in the league, 28th in the league in total offense, just 23rd in rushing and 26th in passing. It's been a struggle. And losing Tyreek Hill has kind of forced Miami to change gears a little bit and try to find some more ways to move the football. Miami Dolphins have only run the ball 40% of the time. They've thrown it 60% of the time. When you're behind, you throw. When you're ahead, you run. And I think one of the reasons they had success and stayed with the run last week is they got a lead. And they improved their blocking schemes with some of these robust formations. The Dolphins use a lot of motion. 80% of their plays, you're going to see some kind of motion. Sometimes you'll see a shift and motion. And a lot of these motions, I call it cheat motion. You'll see Alex Ingold, the fullback, right before the ball is snapped, boop, boop, he goes in motion. He's kind of cheating, getting himself in a position to get a blocking angle. Or you might see the running back in the backfield right before the snap, boop, boop, he cheats out here to get a free release so the defensive end can't get his hands on him. I see fast motion, jet sweep motion, a lot of crazy motions to try to see if it's man or zone. Tua wants to see if anybody's running with the motion. Is it man or is it zone? Can I force a rotation and maybe get somebody out of position? Can I use motion to help my receiver get a free release into the coverage? A lot of really cool, bizarre motions. I mean, I've seen Ingold come across, he'll come back, whoop, he does like 3 or 4 different things. I used to coach Ingold. I'll tell you this, they're teaching him a lot better than I did how to go in motion. There's a lot of ways to throw the ball. There's a lot of ways to study the forward passing game. But when I watch Miami, I got a lot of respect for Tua. His timing is unique. Not a lot of people get under the center and take a 5-step drop. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and throw off the plant. Incredible timing. I see Waddle with his outside foot up. I see him run a 6-step glance route, a 4-step slant route, and the quarterback's timing is perfect. Some of these tight window timing passes, I mean, I'm sitting in here by myself and I'm like, whoa! Malasek comes running in and says, you all right? It was another Tua timing pass. Great anticipation. He has accuracy. He's got touch. And then they give him some freedom at the line of scrimmage. They're playing the Jets. They're in a slot formation. I'd get in a lot of trouble if I showed you the video because it costs about $700,000 per second. But you see Miami, they have a slot formation. Waddle's in here. They got a receiver out here. It's double bump and run. Waddle starts stuttering his feet. The receiver picks the corner. Waddle swings down the far sideline. Beautiful. We call it a Raven combination. Look at this, Clay, right here. You got a slot formation out here. Here's Waddle. There's the nickel corner. Stutter yourself. Keep that corner right there. You go down in there and make that corner come underneath you, and then Waddle swings to the outside. Beautiful, man. Vintage. I mean, great stuff. So a lot of people say, well, we hate Tua. Well, what are you talking about? Why are you so complimentary of the guy? Well, he hasn't been perfect. He's thrown 10 picks. But I'll say this, when you study the 10 picks, sometimes he's under intense fire. Sometimes the route isn't perfect. And when you throw the ball with incredible timing and anticipation, a lot of things have to be right. The route has to be perfectly run. I mean, you got to have protection. There's a lot of shit that can go wrong. But he has made some bad decisions. And the bad decisions and the poor throws, he's got to take responsibility for, and I know he has. But he's going to have to play another clean game, just like he did against the Falcons last week. 20 for 25. 4 touchdowns to 4 different receivers. Miami used 9 different people touching the football. That's the best ball distribution I've seen from Miami in some time. I love that. Got to take better care of the ball. You know, Tua had 3 straight games with 3 interceptions. 3, 6, 9 picks. And I think a lot of people got tired of that. So his decision making, it's got to be premier in this football game. The play action pass, I think, is going to be the winning edge for Miami. They threw a beautiful play action pass against Carolina, and Waddle ran down the corner to the post. They eliminated the underneath coverage. It was beautiful. Last week against Atlanta, they were 7 out of 8 on the play action passes, 66 yards. A couple of bootlegs, moving the pocket, were excellent, well-executed plays. The other thing Tua is known for is the quick passing game. The ball is going to come out in 2.5 seconds or less. So it's really important for these Ravens to knock a pass down, man. Bat a ball. We got to get turnovers from this Raven defense if you're a Baltimore person. The best way to get them sometimes is on a deflected tip pass. For this Baltimore Raven defense led by Zach Orr, they're a base defense. They 3 down linemen, 4 linebackers for years and years. What they have done since the trade to get Alohi Gilman from the Chargers, they traded away a pretty good pass rusher to bring in Gilman. They've really unlocked Kyle Hamilton, their safety. And I tell you, I swear I see this, Clay. The Ravens are known for running a 3-4 defense. And they have an outside linebacker. We call him the Sam. We know the Mike, the Plug, and the Will. Jake knows these guys. Well, since they got Kyle Hamilton unlocked, they need to get a little more speed and playmaking. You will see times where Kyle Hamilton becomes the outside linebacker. He is a big nickel, but they can create a lot of their base fronts with Kyle Hamilton playing Sam linebacker or Mike linebacker. The guy's a hell of a player, and they're using him very creatively. The Ravens have had injuries and inconsistency. Their biggest problem is the pass rush. Here's the Ravens, for crying out loud. Who led the NFL in 23 and 24 in sacks, Jake? The Ravens. They had 114 sacks, Clay. Who led the NFL?
The Ravens.
The Ravens. Right now, they have 9 sacks. 9 sacks? That's unbelievable. Well, that's partly because I don't know who some of these guys are. I mean, number 45's at right end. That's Mike Green. I saw 58, Taven Bryan, who wasn't even with the team, as their defensive tackle in a fourth quarter pass rush situation. Number 91 was out there. His name is Okoye. What college did he go to? He didn't go to a college, so we don't know much about him. And 90 was Ojabi from Michigan. So that's a hell of a lot different than the crowd they sent out there last year. By the way, when I was coaching against the Ravens, they had Peter Bulware out there, and McCray, and freaking Saragusa, and Sam Adams. How about Suggs? God, I get sick talking about the Ravens. Anyways, they got to get more pressure. And if they can't get there with a four-man rush, they got to do something with some blitzes. And when you start blitzing, you compromise the secondary. And the secondary has some moving parts as well, so it's been a problem. Pass rush, pressure on the quarterback has led to just 4 takeaways. And if there's one thing I'm sure that pisses off Coach Harbaugh and Coach Orr the most, and these defensive players, is we have 4 takeaways. The Ravens are famous for splash plays, sack, strip, fumble, interception, touchdowns on defense. It hasn't happened. They got to get more of that done. The other thing I think Baltimore's got to be careful of in this game is the quick count. A couple times, Matthew Stafford walks up there, snaps the ball before the Ravens were ready. They got a couple big plays in the passing game. So they got to get the calls. They got to get their cleats in the grass, get ready to go and play the coverage. I think they got burned a couple times. It's going to be interesting to see the team speed of the Baltimore Ravens against this Miami Dolphin offense. Let me tell you something. Achane, number 28, that is one fast cat. Man, he is fast. And I'll tell you, Gordon, number 31, he's fast. And when they bring in Jalen Wright from Tennessee, he can haul ass. They've got some guys that catch these screen passes that can get out on the perimeter and do big-time damage. The Ravens' team speed and pursuit, to me, is not near the standard that they have set over the years. It's got to improve in this game. Got to eliminate the big plays. Got to play better from recovery. They got a young linebacker, Teddy Buchanan, rookie out of Cal. When you bite on the run and you realize it's a pass, you got to play better in recovery and try to limit the damage on some of these play-action passes. Zach Orr runs a lot of predator blitzes. You'll see Hamilton blitz off the edge, but you'll see the opposite defensive end drop into coverage. The line will move. They'll create a 4-man rush. Simulated pressure. 4 guys are blitzing. We still have 7 in coverage. You just don't know which 4 are coming. They've done a pretty good job of that. The pass coverage, just like last year, they got to eliminate these explosive plays, man. I mean, they've given up 26 passes already of 20 yards or more. They've given up 14 touchdown passes, just 2 interceptions. That has got to change. Their defense has played better the last 2 weeks. Against the Rams, they gave up 240 yards of total offense, 17 points, and they really did a nice job in week 6. And then against the Bears, I thought the Bears came in a pretty hot offense. DeAndre Swift, 240 yards rushing the previous 2 games. They held him in check for the most part, 11 for 45. But they have a problem, number 28, Devon Achane. Right now, Achane has 144 touches. The next guy on the Miami Dolphins near him is at 43 touches. That's Gordon. So who are they throwing and running the ball with? Achane. Well, Achane has 774 yards from scrimmage. That's 6th in the league. He's one of 3 players in pro football with over 500 yards rushing and 200 yards receiving. And when he gets a crease, he's freaking gone, man. I love watching him play. Gordon, 31, Achane, 28 are the go-to guys. Achane has 5 runs of 20 yards or more. The guy can hit it out of the park. And he has caught 13 touchdown passes, man, since he came into the league in 2023. He is the fastest Miami Dolphin to get 30 touchdowns. He did it in 36 games. And when you say the fastest to 30 touchdowns in Miami Dolphin history, it's pretty impressive when you think of some of the cats that have come through here. Let's take a look at a couple of these matchups now up front. For the Miami Dolphins, left tackle Patrick Paul, number 52, second-round player out of Houston, has had some improvement I've seen on tape. Left guard is a rookie, Jonah Savainaya. I love saying that. Savainaya. He's out of Arizona. He's had some struggles this year. That's why I have a big square on their left guard, 72. He's given up some sacks. He's given up quite a few pressures. Aaron Brewer is the center, number 55. He's athletic. They pull him on the G scheme, but Brewer's had 5 holding calls against him. A couple of them got called back, but I saw him, Brewer. I saw him. Clean up your hands in there, man. Right guard has been a turnstile position for the Dolphins. Hell, earlier in the year, they had Keon Smith playing in there, number 71. I thought Liam Eichenberger was going to be the guy. Now it's Cole Strange, former New England Patriot, number 69. He's been in there for 5 weeks. He has struggled with these TE stunts, switching them off. I expect some line movement over there against Strange. Right tackle Larry Borum, the ex-Chicago Bear, is taking over for Austin Jackson. I think he's done a hell of a job. This right tackle's a big, strong guy with some good athleticism. And the D-line of the Ravens, 9 sacks. We saw rookie Mike Green from Marshall, who led the country in sacks last year, get his very first sack. I saw him in the locker room. He got a game ball, too. 18 tackles. 45 Green is coming on, but he's got to come further fast. Let's go, Green. And over here, they welcome the return of Kyle Van Noy. Van Noy led the team in sacks with 12 last year, just 1 sack right now. They need the veteran, number 53, to get going. The other edge player is a Joby, number 90, veteran out of the University of Michigan. They have called him into duty with all the injuries that they have had. And inside, Travis Jones, number 98. He is a body snatcher. Great big defensive tackle. He's a run defender. They got to get more pass rush from him. The other tackle is going to be John Jenkins. He's been around, you know. Been around a long time. He had a sack forced fumble against Matthew Stafford. He's a pocket pushing rusher, good run defender. They need to get somebody inside to give them more pass rush. Keep an eye on this CJ Okoye guy, number 91. When you see Okoye come on the field, you might see the biggest human being that you've ever seen. The running back, we know Achane is a heck of a player. Don't lose sight of Ollie Gordon, number 31, the rookie out of Oklahoma State. He's big. He's got some slashing, make you miss stuff in the hole, and he's fast. And Jalen Wright, he's got some pop, the youngster out of Tennessee in his second year. They use all 3 backs. Alec Ingold, number 30, is the Kyle Juszczyk of the Dolphins. They play him all over the place. They rarely hand it to him. They'll throw it to him in the flat on occasion, but this guy is a very good blocker in line. He's a good cutoff man on the backside. He'll wham you. He'll do it all. Alec Ingold, another former Raider. The linebackers of the Baltimore Ravens, Roquan Smith is back. And Roquan, he doesn't look like he did a year ago to me. He looks like he's struggling to change directions. He's not as quick. He's not as sudden as he was a year ago, coming off that hamstring. He's still very instinctive, very physical, had 12 tackles, but you want to see what he's going to be able to do on some of these perimeter screens that Miami does. Teddy Buchanan has been a huge surprise for Baltimore, missed a couple tackles last week. He'll start opposite Roquan Smith. Trenton Simpson, number 32, he played a lot of football. He's got 30 tackles and a sack and a half. He plays inside linebacker to spare these 2 men. They'll even put Simpson on the line of scrimmage to rush. They're trying to find new roles for Simpson to be a factor in this defense. They got another guy, 35, Jake Hummel. Watch him on the goal line. He had a big stuff right down there at the 1-yard line. He's got 9 tackles. They've got a lot of linebackers, and they'll use them all given the injuries that they've had. The receivers for the Dolphins, Jalen Waddle is the go-to guy, number 17. He had a touchdown last week. A lot of these timing, strike routes, and slant routes go to Waddle. 35 catches, 504 yards. You know, in the first 5 years of a pass offense with the Miami Dolphins, this man has more yardage than any other Dolphin, more than Chris Chambers, more than Mark Duper, more than Mark Clayton, more than Paul Warfield. How about that? This guy's a hell of a player, and I look for him in these critical moments to be the guy. He is really tough to bring down after the catch. When the Ravens are in a base defense, it'll be Marlon Humphrey, number 44, covering. On this side, I'd love to see Humphrey up against Waddle. That'd be exciting. The other receiver the Dolphins are using is Nick Westbrook-Ikhine. Played at Indiana. How about those Hoosiers? Ikhine is a former Tennessee Titan. He wears number 18. Just getting himself worked into this offense after the injury to Tyreek Hill. He mishandled a quick out last week in the red zone. Got to get used to that timing from Tua. Ball's coming out quick. In the slot is number 6, Malik Washington. He's interesting. He took a punt back for a touchdown against the Patriots. 25 catches, but only 5.4 yards per carry. So you know he's catching a lot of swing passes, bubble screens, RPO type stuff. But don't forget, he took it to the house against the Patriots. He can hurt you. The right corner for the Ravens, it'll end up on the left side of this Miami offense, is Nate Wiggins. And the former first-round pick from Clemson's playing excellent. He's got 26 tackles. He has both interceptions. He had a big one last week. Caleb Williams was late down the middle, and Wiggins made him pay and really helped set up the convincing knockout touchdown punch. I like Wiggins. He's been targeted 46 times. It took me a while to get through it, but he's only given up a 78.4 QBR. The guy's getting better and better and better, and he and Humphrey give the Ravens two pretty damn good corners. For the most part, Baltimore plays big nickel. You'll see Kyle Hamilton at or near the line of scrimmage a lot. He'll play big nickel, he'll play linebacker, outside linebacker, but they're really using the veteran Fighting Irish from Notre Dame's nickel man to make plays. On the back end, Malachi Starks, first-round pick out of Georgia. He's got 44 tackles. He's third on the team. They need more splash plays from him. He was a turnover magnet at Georgia. He's got to get on the turnover ledger. Get a strip. Rush to the pile, pocket out, poke it out of there, whatever the hell you do, get the ball back. The other safety, Alohi Gilman, came over from the Chargers. So when they're in nickel, you're going to see Starks and Gilman. You'll see Hamilton as the big nickel. And when they go dime, you'll see a Woozy come in the game, number 3, and they'll get Marlon Humphrey in here to play nickel, and they'll use our guy Hamilton more as a linebacker. So they have a lot of unique packages that they use based on the situation. The big thing is we got to get more pressure on the quarterback if we're the Ravens. This Miami Dolphin offensive line has given up 18 sacks this year, a lot of pressures. That's a big reason why Tua has 10 picks. They've also had 22% of their run plays stuffed, nothing, or negative yardage. So the D-line of the Ravens has to get up for this matchup up front. When it comes right down to it, in third down, what you're going to see a lot from the Ravens is you're going to see a 3-down look. They'll put a defensive lineman right over the center and try to get him a two-way go or maul him. They'll put 2 defensive ends out here. It'll probably be David Ojobi on one side, and on the other side, you'll probably see 45 Green. 3 down linemen. Then they're going to take a couple of these linebackers. It might be Vanoy, it might be Roquan Smith, and they might put Hamilton right here, their dime safety. And they'll create all kind of different blitzes, stunts, bluffs. But when the Ravens get into it 10 times last week, 3 down linemen, 2 linebackers, and Hamilton kind of rovering around there, smelling your protection, and they're trying to get you with some blitzes. A big play that Miami runs, and you'll see Gordon score on a touchdown last week against Atlanta. Achane caught 2, Gordon caught 1, is they throw some middle screens. And what they did last week is Tua smelled out man-to-man coverage, so they ran their receiver on a shallow cross, and that corner ran with them. He also kind of ran clearance on the linebacker that's covering Gordon. But what Gordon does is he starts out here like he's running a wide flare, and the linebacker comes flying out of there to get with him. But what it is it's a middle screen. So the tackle lures the defensive end up the field. You'll see the left guard in the center invite the rush, and you'll see Brewer, the athletic center, he'll go out there and pick that linebacker that's covering Gordon. He comes flying back in here, finds his left guard, and off he goes on a middle screen. Touchdown, Dolphins. You got to be careful, because when you get your rush coming this way, and sometimes zone coverage linebackers going that way, there's some soft areas for these backs to catch these middle screens. And if you're in man coverage, good God, it could end up being a touchdown. So these middle screens are a real problem. When they see it's a zone coverage, they won't put this receiver on a shallow cross. They'll outside release, he'll go block the safety, but now the back will still do the same thing. He'll come back in, but when the line invites the pass rush this way and the zone cover drop linebacker goes that way, there's a soft void in here. You feel that, Jake?
Yep.
And the tackle, he stays with the end, and all of a sudden, the guard and the center take off the block, and there's a soft hole, and you got Devon Achane with the ball. And it's that Chris Berman noise. What's it sound like?
Whoop!
Whoop, whoop! Oh, shit. Anyways, we got to pick somebody in this game. Who's it going to be? I think it's going to be a high-score game, my Halloween weekend. I got the Ravens 34, Dolphins 30. Ah!